Hey guys, Gabriel here, and today I want to show you guys about my Dragon Link deck that I played on LCS 10. We won the 3v3 event, me, Christian, and Paolo. I was playing Dragon Link, they both were playing Zodiac Outlich. You can probably see their deck profiles somewhere. I'll link them in the description. Betty will. But before starting this, I want to give some shoutouts because I wrote a list and I will forget if I don't do it right now. So first of all, huge shout out to Josh Kirby, Beer Power on DB. I had some questions about the deck list because I wasn't sure like 2 hours before the list, and he just sent me his list, and he helped me a lot. I changed not a lot of stuff, like 3 cards, and those performed pretty well during the tournament for me, which are the second router and cutting the hospitality and playing the Nocto. We'll go through that on the list. And then everyone in WAF, especially Ryan, Tristan, Hash, Cormac, everyone we tested with, Luke. I won't name everyone, I'll forget someone, but I love all of you. It wouldn't be possible without everyone's work, as we always work together. And of course, to Christian and Paolo, it was an amazing weekend. I can't believe we won. We were almost out by round 5, and then we just suddenly won. So, I mean, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! It's crazy, right? It's Outlich and 2 Dragon Links winning an event. But why would you play Dragon Link, right? I got this question asked a lot because it's a worse combo deck than Drytron and Virtual World, which I agree, 100%. It's also susceptible to Draw and Lancia, which I also agree. So, from an outside perspective, this deck just seemed like garbage, which I also agree. I remember like it was like a month and a half ago that Chris sent me the list of the guy that was rank 1 on DB playing this. And I was like, there's no way you can play Dragon Link. Everyone's playing Draw and Lancia. Why would you just play Dragon Link? You got hit by the 2 most common hand traps. And I think this is actually just about how you look at this deck. We got the idea. I mean, Dragon Link was like a hard combo deck that you just insta-win when you combo off, and you just make like Seal Carrier, Savage, Herald with like infinite follow-up. But that's not the Dragon Link of today. Today's Dragon Link is a modern day Salamangreat deck. You play like a respected number of hand traps. You play 8. It could be 9, but it's 8. And you're just trying to do enough. You don't need to play like more bricks. So this list, if you look at it, for example, it plays way less bricks than Dragon Link of Fold. It doesn't play Dragon Lady Phalanx. It doesn't play Dragon Lady Divine Lance. White Rose Dragon, Red Rose Dragon. You're cutting all of those cards. This means you have more space for versatile cards, and although your end board's worse and stuff, you're playing a different game. So when people like Lancia you, you're usually ending like Seal Tiding, or when people draw you, you're still ending like Seal Savage, Tiding Savage, whatever, a combination of those. Which is like true interrupts and good follow-up, because all the cards in this deck generate follow-up. Router generates follow-up, all of the rockets do in some way, shape, or form because of boot sector, Seifert recurs. This chamber into tiding is insane because it's basically like not an infinite engine, but like chamber gets tiding, tiding bounces, and tiding revives chamber that gets another tiding, then this tiding gonna get another chamber. So you just have like materials. This deck is just like sticky. You don't usually stop your opponent from playing, but you usually do enough to the point they don't kill you and you get them on the turn back. You're kind of trying to get to turn 3. That's the main goal here. So for some of the choices are a bit more different, I guess. Chuab's Router is something a lot of people played one. I really like Router. I think Router is like a fine draw. You have 3 Tracer, 2 Synchron, 1 Recharger, 2 Seifert, 3 Quick Launch, and 3 Chaos Space as cards that make Router alive. If you see any of these cards, Router is like very good, because Router is a special summon that searches a card. Router is also especially good with Rocket Synchron and Quick Launch, because you can go like, I don't know, Quick Launch for Rocket Synchron, Special Router, make Chaos Ruler, and chain block the Chaos Ruler with the Router effect. So it facilitates Chaos Ruler, it generates follow-up, it gives you... You don't need 2 for the grind. Like, for example, I don't think playing 1 or 2 is what changes your grind game, but I think you just want to draw Router. It's only really bad when you don't see any of those other 11 cards. But even then, like if you have like that, but you have, I don't know, a way to get to 2 dragons, like a dragon plus a World Legacy or dragon, which is pretty rare because the only dragon that satisfies that is Chamber. But if that happens, you can go for Ravine. Ravine pitch this router that's dead, send a Bro Tower, or send a Levy, a Seifert, or something. So it's not terrible. I think people underestimate router. No one's negating the first thing you do as well when you're playing Dragon Link, because I think like I noticed as well. This would be way worse if people were like if you just normal summon a monster, people just popped it with Chuche. It's not what usually happens. So router usually gets value because you don't want to interrupt Dragon Link too early, because people still have like the mindset of the old Dragon Link. Oh, I said this was going to be a quick one, and they're still in the Absol router. So the rocket ratio is 3 Tracers, 2 Synchron on Recharger. I think 2 Tracer is probably correct. I think I would probably play Red MD instead. I missed Red MD quite a couple times because when you get drawed, you don't have a good LP target. Because I mean, all the good LP targets are search cards. It's Bro Tower, Chamber, Seifert. Other than Tracer. But I assume you already have Tracer, so you can Pisty for it. This means that you would need another good card to summon. So Seal plus World Legacy or Dragon, or Seal plus 2 arrows is Seal Apple to draw. That came up like 3 times for me. I don't think it mattered that much. There was one game that I guess it mattered. It's a game that I lost that I probably have won with Apple. So it could be a Red MD here. Like, you don't even need to play Black Metal Dragon. You can just play one Red MD. Or you can play 1-1 and use a Black Metal to try to search the Red MD. Black Metal is just a bit awkward because of the prevalence of draw right now. And it's a normal summon that kind of clashes with the other ones, because Seifert and Chamber work well together. But yeah, 3 Tracer is okay. I side the third one off a lot. So it's basically if you're playing 2 most of the games. 2 Synchron is something a lot of people asked. I also didn't understand this when I first saw the list. Because I mean, Synchron was always a fiber target. So when I saw this list for the first time, I thought like people were playing 2 Synchron just in case you draw one, you summon the other a fiber. But that's not it. Like, Synchron normal summon effect comes up a lot in this deck, because you can go Synchron Revive a Router to make a Savage or a Chaos Ruler, and you can also go Synchron Revive a level 8 Synchro to make the Hot Red. So it's a very good grind card, which means that you kind of want to have 2, because you can do it like once during your combo and once as follow-up. When you draw it, it's just a tuner extender, because it's just like a boot sector summon, so it's not bad at all. You also want to draw it with Router, even if Nocto is not that bad. It facilitates the Chaos Ruler plays. It also makes making Chaos Ruler more valuable, because if you can get your Chaos Ruler plus a level 1 tuner, you get your Hot Head. This can summon back to make the Apple or the Sanafond with the 11-year. So I think 2 Synchron's fine. I had 2 Recharger, 1 Synchron for forever, but this is fine. Synchron is a way better card to draw than the Recharger is. Then when Recharge is the best level for targets. 2 Seifert. Why 2 Seifert, I guess? Because most of the top cut lists played 1, right? I think they did. I wanted 5 normal summons, like 5 starters and 5 cards. It's more cards that facilitate the fact that I can play 2 Router, because I think Router is very good. It's also okay. How you can put this? It's not bad into Gamma, into Lancia or Draw, because it's one of the cards that allows you to Gamma those cards. So assuming everyone's siding those cards, when you open Seifert Gamma, you can feel super safe, because you can just go Seifert send itself. If they don't have one of those cards, they don't have it, and then you just play your game. If they have it, you just get to Gamma them. This Gamma is insane because it's level 2, level 6. It's a free Chaos Ruler for absolutely no reason. So I really like the Seiferts. It also gives a bit more grind game by having the second to recycle the 11-year in grinding matchups. It comes up a bit against Virtual Road, because that's a deck you grind a lot, and it's good against control. The 3 Chambers, this is the best normal summon of the deck. The Dragon Lady Tiding is a very insane card. It's a Mystic Mine out, it clears Zeus, it clears continuous traps like Floodgates and stuff. It's a Wind out. It's not the best card ever to draw, which is the one bad thing about it, right? You sometimes go like Chamber, they draw you. But if they Chamber draw when you have like an extender, and you always get Tiding, you just like make Seal set Tiding, and now they have 5 cards to play through Seal Tiding, which doesn't seem like a lot, but they usually can't kill through Seal Tiding, because that's like 2 bounces. So you usually are forced to go into the battle phase. Once you go into the battle phase, you can die. So the Seal is gonna bounce something, the Tiding is gonna bounce something. Usually gonna get like a Bro Tower, for example, so the Bro Tower is gonna get a Levy. The next turn, that Tiding is already another Chamber, which is already another Tiding in hand. So even if it's not like the most impressive end board ever, Chamber facilitates you surviving to turn 3. That is what you ideally want to do. You also can summon Chamber of LP if you just don't open it. It's sometimes a better target than Broad Tower for Lavinia, because some matchups Titan is just insane, like against Virtual Road it's very good, against the Emancipator. It's one of the best card ever against Drytron, but it's still annoying because Drytron, even though board cards don't interact with their board, like pops, because everything happens in the graveyard. This card just means that they have to at some point get things into the board to play. Like they have to commit into Lily Rusk, they have to commit into Union Carrier or into the Big Herald something. So Titan still deals with that, and Titan can also return a Benton from when they tribute it, and then it doesn't trigger. So that's another decent application at times, like on very weird scenarios that they needed the Benton Surge, because that Benton Surge is gonna be like a Neva for the Orange Light, or it's going to be the Ultimateness something. So returning a Drytron or a Benton is okay. Yeah, Black Dragon, White Dragon, mandatory for Chaos Space. One Broad Tower, it's just the LP targets. 1-for-1's not terrible. I consider 1-for-1. I think if you play Black Metal, you can probably play it more. It's just kind of a shame that it's very weak to Ash. It's not the best card into draw as well, because you discard a card, summon one, then you get draw, then you're ready. The 11 year is kind of dead. If it's Black Metal, I guess it's Seal Pass. It's not horrible, but I didn't think about playing one Black Metal, one Red MD. I was just playing the Red MD. So I think that's probably a change that will happen. One Noctovision. Some people ask me about this one. You play one Noctovision specifically, so Seifert Router is a good hand. If you don't play this Noctovision, it's kind of bad. Noctovision is not a bad card by any means. Like, it's just a free special summon and a draw. But playing the one allows this combination to be a lot better, which allows you to play 2 Router, and you want to play 2 Router because drawing Router is usually good, then having more hands that can justify it is good. It's not like you're playing a break for it, like Noctovision is a sick card. It can also protect Dragonmaid Titan. This happened in a game of mine. It has its hidden effect that you banish it and protect the sacked card. So they went to Nightmare Phoenix my Titan and they just chained Noctovision. The Levy, it's an end board card. It's how you break boards. It's usually it's very good because it's a Zeus out. So what happens quite a lot is that you're gonna do stuff like not steal. If you don't like full combo, just steal Titan, for example. They are probably gonna break it, and they Zeus you or something. But then you resolved Brotar for 11 years, so you just 11 your first action against Zueld, for example. You pop the Zeus, you pop their Conk, another 2 interactions are dead, and you can just keep playing. So 11 years is very important. You can side it out though, going second against some matchups. I like it against Virtual World, but against Drytron it's usually not worth it. Then the 8 hidden traps, Ash and Gamma are the best ones. Gamma is particularly insane because you have Quick Launch, you have Chaos Space that can get hand trapped in an open. You have Seifert as well. It's a light for Chaos Space. Just very good all around. The Gamma is just it hits everything. It's the best one against Virtual World because it actually takes the resource away. Ash is very good because it covers everything. It's just a shame it's not a light or a dark, but it's good enough to justify playing a non-light, non-dark hand trap, just because of how good Ash is. And then this other spot is Meister or Nib. I chose Meister. As you can see, there's 2 main Meisters, a sided Meister and 2 sided Nibs. I think Meister is slightly better, and I wanted to main the Meisters because I think if you're stealing against Control with this deck, you're probably only beating Control if you steal game 1. And Meister facilitates that for you. So that's why I chose it over Nib. I also don't think Nib's good against Drytron, and Meister is better against Virtual World and against Drytron. So Nib is basically only for A, people playing badly, B, people playing Dragon Link, which they shouldn't, but for some reason everyone chose to main Nib this weekend. Which I didn't think it was that popular. I mean, this deck's not garbage into Nib. I think like Gamma is way better than Nib is, for example. But yeah, moving on. 3 Chaos Space, 3 Quick Launch, 3 World Legacy War Dragon is self-explanatory. The 1 Boot, the 1 Ravine, the Rum Target, and 2 Tiding. And no Hospitality. Yeah, I forgot to say about that in Chamber. I think people have been playing a lot, is playing Chamber, Hospital, Tiding. But Hospitality is a very shit card when you don't have a Chamber. I mean, it's dead. And when you have a Chamber plus an extender. So you have like Chamber Nocto, Chamber White Dragon, Chamber Boots, Chamber plus a rocket, so you're gonna go Boot Sector add, etc. You almost always want to add Tiding, because Tiding is a more versatile interruption, and it also generates follow-up, which the Hospitality doesn't. The only scenario you would add Hospitality when you normal summon Chamber is when you go normal Chamber and you have no other card, so you ideally would want to end on Seal instead of just Chamber Tiding, because Seal is a better card. But it's not like Chamber Tiding does something that much different from Seal, so we thought that the drawback wasn't big enough to justify playing another brick in Hospital, and I really didn't miss the card. It was actually very, very nice to not have to play Hospitality and just dead opening it. This also means that I excite the Chambers out going second, because I mean, Tiding is fine going first. When you're going second and you go Chambers search Tiding, set Tiding pass, it's not that good. So you side out them against combo and you keep the Seiferts. And this works pretty well. I keep 1-1 against Virtual Road because it's a very good interaction against them that you can search after you hand trap them. But yeah, for the extra deck, Pisty, LP, 3 strikers, pretty standard so far. The one Hawk, I think Hawk is the card I at least summoned this weekend of all of my extra deck. It's probably between Hawk and Xenophon, but probably less Hawks than Xenophons. This card comes up when you have like a Tuner plus World Legacy or Dragon mainly. Because you always want to make Seal, and when you make Hawk, it's hard to make the Seal after because you gotta like Striker pop the Hawk Fibrex. So it's mainly just a card when you're trying to kill or when you're playing like a pretty low resource scenario, but it's still good to have. I don't think any other card is better. It also turns some weird hands where you have like a monster plus an Ash. It allows you to get into Striker Dragon. And then this Striker Dragon can get like a recharger, like in a turn 3 scenario or something. It came up once, I think. The one Romulus, also you don't make this turn 1. This is another massive mistake people make. They get two, if for example my hand like 2 dragons plus a Dragon Extender, I don't go for Rom, I just make Seal and pass, and if the Dragon Extender is like a Tracer, I make like Seal Savage pass, or like you go Seal, Tracer, depends how much you want to play around the big guys, like Seal Tracer, Tracer Pop, make Elk, make Recharger, get Tiding, end on Seal Savage Tiding. But I don't like going for Rom first, because it's the weakest line of all of them into Nib. It's weaker into Gamma. Ravine is like super minus, because you search Ravine for free, but then you have to discard a card, and then you're clearing your own Ravine to place the Boot Sector on top. When you play 2 Router, you need this Ravine less as well, because you're seeing Router more often. Or you already have like 2 rockets, for example, but you still want to play the one because it's still a threat. It happens a lot going second. Like you're going to like 17 hand traps both sides, so the game plan is hand trap, summon 2 dragons, Bohosort. And Ravine helps doing that because Ravine does turn 2 dragons into game, which is not without it. 2 Heretic Seal, also a change. Most Dragon Link lists play 1. I mean, not now. I guess now most people at top play 2 because they're playing this deck for a while. But this card's like crazy. It's an interrupt and it fetches engine. And you want to play 2 because you make like... First, sometimes grinding 2 comes up. But mainly you make 1, they nib you, you summon like Brawl Tower, get Levineer, wipe a card from their hand, make the second seal. And then it takes out that value from the Nibiru. And it's just a very good card. Like grind game, it's very good against Virtual Road. It forces a lot of battle phases. People just love going battle phase to clear the seal, which clears an interrupt like for no resources. But when you're playing this deck, you usually don't care if they do that, if you can kill them next turn. So the only deck that's pretty good, pretty like lackluster against Virtual Road, because I mean, doesn't matter how many interrupts you have if they just VFD you. But other than that, Seal is very good, and it's also very good against Virtual Road because it forces them to just normal summon a name and go battle phase. So if you can choose not to bounce the name, just Seal bounce like a Boot Sector or something, and then they could have potentially wasted that name, which could be their one way to play like the normal Ludo or something. Or you bounce the name and then like you have your other interrupts, because Virtual Road has realistically like 2 cards that they can target a turn. They have the spell they activate and then normal summon monsters. The outliers are when they open multiple spells, when they open multiple Kowloons, Kinglongs, and when they open teleport. But realistically, Seal Tiding beats them a lot, because if you just bounce one monster with the Seal, bounce the Chuche with the or the King Long, whatever, that they target with the Tiding, it means that 4 of the cards in their hand are dead because they use 2 effects and they activated 2 of the cards. So that's usually enough for Virtual Road. The Apollo, I played Apollo over Skull Dread. I don't like Skull Dread. I think Skull Dread is bad into draw, it's terrible into Gamma, and a lot of people were holding Gamma because the most popular build played Skull Dread, so you can just bamboozle them by just going Apollo instead. You can kinda make them in similar scenarios. From 2 dragons plus World Legacy Guard Dragon, you can end on Seal Savage, Live in Your Hand Loop, and Apollo over 3. You just like make LP and Piston into a ROM, then the ROM searches a Ravine. This Ravine is what's gonna search the Tracer for the Savage, and then the Bro Tower and the 11 Year with the ROM make the Apollo. Yeah, it's pretty good. I didn't do it a lot because I never got full combo realistically, but I think it's the best end board this deck can end on, and Seal and Tiding also protect it, so their Apollo negates are more real negates. Since they can't battle phase bait all of their deck, like they have to choose. If they go normal summon something, you steal it back, the Apollo staying there, and then for Virtual World, if they don't have a King Long, for example, it's very hard to play through a 3 negate Apollo. The Bauhaus Sword is the easiest way to game. Xenophond is an interesting card. It's very good against Droplets, it's very good against Drytron. It's not terrible against Virtual World. It's better than I thought it was, because when you think about it, Virtual World, it's kinda hard to VFT you when Lao Lao doesn't reborn, Nian doesn't reborn, and you can't do the Cloud Castle plays. Because most of the good players are doing a lot of Cloud Castle, and that's what makes some of the most subpar hands, which I mean, it's basically what they have working when you have like a board, right? They don't have like a full hand. Because you hand loop them and you interrupt their cards, so the Xenophond a lot of the times makes you able to not get VFT'd. And Chuchi is not that big of an issue, the main issue is just VFT, saying no. And it's insane against Drytron, and it plays round drop. So it was pretty good. You can make it with Levineer and Chaos Ruler. Usually you like make Hot Red, and then you Levy and Chaos Ruler into this, you detach so the Chaos Ruler doesn't get banished, and then next turn this Chaos Ruler is more pressure. You can also do it under Tracer Dark Lock, which is kind of an issue, because sometimes like you do a play, right? But then you go Tracer into that, you make Savage, on the Savage activation you get Nibiru, but then you can scramble into like summon a monster, you summon like a Seifert, for example, like a Seifert of the Tracer, of the Seal. You make the Striker Dragon, Striker Pop, get the Recharger's discard to summon the Savage. You bench the Seifert to get the Levy back, you special the Levy, you make the Xenophond. This Xenophond is going to be like 4k defense, can't be destroyed by card effects, and you loop their opponent for 1, assuming you Levy them, so now they have like 3 in hand, and the Xenophond's probably sticking, and then you just play again next turn. So yeah, Xenophond's very good. Chaos Ruler is very funny, I love this card, it's so good. Or very bad. It's good to make into boards because it kind of forces people to preemptively pop stuff. Like you have like a recharge and a router. They have to do something. Like if they're playing control, because Chaos Ruler resolving is like terror for control. Because it's a big monster that's going to add a card, it's going to mill cards that have effects like Tiding, Chaos Space, Router, Seifert, Bro Tower. So it's like chaos for them. So they have to pop one of those 2 cards. But popping Synchron is bad because of Good Sector. Popping Router is also bad because it floats. Or if they just allow you to make Chaos Ruler, you just get the advantage. So it puts them in a lot of disadvantage scenarios going second. It's good going first when you have a sick hand because it just allows you to fetch into hand trapped. Post side it's very good because it gets you to Lancia or Psycho Reader or Nib. So Lancia for Virtual World, Psycho Reader for Drytron. And it also facilitates the Xenophond play, which is very good against Drytron because your end board isn't as good as versus them. And it's very funny. I really like the card. Sometimes your hand's kind of mad, it's just a Tracer, you just Tracer into Chaos Ruler, you hit like 2 cards, you get a hand trap, you get like a Chaos Space draw, and then suddenly your hand's good. So it raises the ceiling, which is something that deck kind of needs, as you're downsizing your ceiling to be able to be competitive with the best decks. The Savage is the end board card. It's Savage and Hot Red for the Chaos Ruler play. It's also very good as another Spun Trap negate against control because it can negate multiple things, and this is also a monster that's bigger than Dragoon. This is also a monster that's bigger than Dragoon usually, because like if they Dragoon negate something, they go to 4k, you can make like a big Xenophond, or this just sometimes gets them off the water against Dragoon. But yeah, the side deck is just Hate Crime, 3 Lancia, 3 Psycho Reader, 3 Draw, Chunib, 1 Meister. I think Meister is a better card than Nib, so that's why 3 Meister, Chunib. 1 Storm, 1 Feather Duster, and 1 Reboot. You go up to 14 hand traps without counting draws. You could do 15, 16 against Virtual Road, or 15 by skipping a Tracer or Tiding, and then 17 against Drytron. So against Drytron you're seeing a hand trap, 2 hand traps very often, and you have the 6 blowouts. And against Virtual Road you're usually seeing 2 hand traps. It's most likely gonna stop them from getting VFT'd. Gonna stop you from getting VFT, gonna stop them from doing VFT. So one of the advantages I think this deck has over the other decks, Virtual and Dry, is that Dry can't side into this amount of hand traps because you have mandatory engine requirements, and Virtual Road can't because A, you have mandatory engine requirements, B, your deck breaks like monarchs. Like Virtual Road's very breaky, so this deck can put this big amount of hand traps and still have consistency because you have so many like 1-card plays. You have, you're taking this out, but you have the Seifert, you have the Tracers, the Quick Launches, the Chaos Spaces. It's basically a 1-card play. Then like every 2-card combinations game. So this allows you to side more aggressively for combo. And your deck is pretty okay-ish against control because of the cards are recursable when you have the Tidings. So I don't think the deck is awful. I don't think it was like super good this weekend. But I think like with some small changes, it's actually pretty okay. Has to see how things get with like the new set and stuff. But it was very fun. It's refreshing to play Dragon Link. It's a deck that I really enjoy. And I'm glad we won again. Couldn't be better. We were 3-2 on the end of round 5, and we had 2 round buys because of Paulo. So yeah, I had my internet still down because we had like heavy rain over here, and then a post dropped a tree that dropped my internet box. So I had to play the whole weekend from a friend's place, and I was almost saying, "Oh guys, sorry I can't play, get a replacement, sorry just drop." But I'm glad I did because it clearly worked out. So thanks for watching me waffle for however long this mess is. If you want to try this, I encourage you. It's very fun to play, and I think with some changes it can adapt to every meta. And yeah, subscribe to the Disciples. We're having more deck profiles. Probably have Hash, Cormax, and Tristan's deck profile coming up with Bird Up. So yeah, get into that. See you guys.
Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel, as well as following all of our socials in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out our sponsors at the Brotherhood Games, Messmat and Card Pocket Down for high quality products and one of the best tournament organisers in the UK. Thanks for watching guys, and see you in the next video.